I'll just tell you guys a brief introduction to what we built. Basically, we built a robot bartender. So, essentially, we used a bunch of technologies in order to step into the future. And as we know, there's still a pandemic going on, and a lot of processes have become contactless. And as we start to socialize again, there are many places where we need to be interacting with a lot of people. A bar is a classic example of a place where we need to have close social interactions, but the less the better. And plus, this is also a typical example of how a supply chain problem manifests itself in real life. You have one bartender, you have a lot of drinks, a lot of people, but the bottleneck is the bartender. So we used programmable communications in order to automate a lot of this process. So essentially, what we envisioned is an end-to-end experience where you only interact with the robot, and you can get a drink or any kind of service that requires some level of intelligence on the server side. During at the beginning of the hackathon, we actually ran this idea by some people, and it was mentioned that there is this bar in Las Vegas that has a robot bartender, but if you have been there, you will also know that it only has preset drinks, and you can just say, I want that, and all it does is a mechanical pour. There's no level of artificial intelligence which actually determines what would you like customized with it. What we did is take that a step further. We integrated programmable communications, ingested user input via voice and text, did some NLP, entity recognition, and then understood what the customer actually needs. You want a gin and tonic, more gin, less tonic. That's very simple, 1 second statement. But a machine does not understand that right away. So what we did is we trained a model that's able to understand nuances of doing a service via a multi-turn or a two-turn conversation where we query the system or query the user for their customizations. All right, so how does it work? You order a drink via multiple channels. We used pretty much everything that we had our hands on for this hackathon. We used Avaya virtual agents. We use CPaaS. You can order via text, via a phone call. We use Dialogflow. And also, we had an integration with Avaya Spaces where there's a virtual agent that can take your order. Psychic powers are not available currently. Then our agent is able to ascertain what kind of drink you want. We had just some classic recipes that we downloaded, and we got the ingredients for it. And then we used NLP to be able to customize what kind of customizations you want in your drink. Straight, on the rocks, more ice, less water, etc., etc. And finally, to make it a complete end-to-end experience, we noticed that when you go to pick up your drink, you still need to interact with the person. So that part we overcame by using QR codes, a combination of QR codes, MMS, as well as face recognition. So essentially what you do is, without using the internet, if you don't have the internet, you send an MMS of your selfie. And when you go up to the drink station or when you go up to the bar, it kind of recognizes you with the face recognition and gives you a QR code. You can show the QR code to our automated system, which then does the pour and gives you the drink. And like I said, we used pretty much everything we had access to. I'd like to thank all the great sponsors and mentors who helped us, the Red Hat people late last night, Subspace for packet acceleration. We did use packet acceleration in order to run commands to our robot and in our backend services. All right. And here's a little demo video, and then we're going to do a live demo. Okay.
So this is the landing page for Duncan. fairly usable star file format. And that's your post slide. This will take you to a portal where you can see their order, which will also give them a receipt. Right to here, right? See the question. The goal is just to store it. That here, his name is Jack. So if he wants to order tiny human graphics, for roughly $15.
Okay, so you can select your thing, but this should be going into a variable, right?
So, apologies for the audio.
Input that.
So, this essentially prints out your tag as you enter a bar. And then you go to the next one.
Then it cuts over to you where you get.
I want a Jack in Coke.
One more time.
Jack in Coke.
So the NLP and the speech recognition isn't very accurate,
Okay, coming right up.
but it did finally recognize what I meant.
More Jack, less Coke.
Please, no judgment. I'm not an alcoholic.
More Jack, less Coke.
All right.
So that is our emulated robot core. So the robot, as you see, is here, and we're going to show it off live. And then you have so that essentially shows you the flow of how we were able to order or make an order of a beverage and then have the system serve it to us. So I am going to show you guys how it's done live, and hopefully the live demo gods will be generous on me. So for brevity's sake, I'm not going to do the entire stand and print your face on the QR code. Although if you do want to see it, we have it all set up over there. So let's just do this.
Hey there, unit. Welcome to Vendor's Drunk Arm, run by me, Vendor. What can I do you for? What can I get yum?
Can I get a Jack in Coke?
Okay, coming right up. Do you want that as is or with customizations?
Less Coke, more Jack.
Alrighty.
Medication. Don't forget to tip your bartender.
All right, so as you've seen, we pretty much have whole flow where we have the minimal number of required human interactions. Obviously, you cannot boil down human interaction to 0, but with the current technology we had on hand to us for the last 2 days, this is what we've been doing and we've been building, and we have had 0 drinks so far, even though we made a bartender. Thank you, and any questions?
Any questions?
How do I have different intents for the drinks? Like if I want Guinness.
So what we did essentially is we made entities which are ingredients, and then we had also modifiers, more, less, a little bit, none. So we combined the ingredients entity with the modifier, and that's how it knows. So for example, here in our use case, there's 2, and the way we control it is basically the angle that it pours over, and the time it takes is controllable. And that's basically how the NLP connects to more this and less that. Yes?
With the QR code and the facial recognition, is that how you verify the age requirement? Is that an element of it?
Well, we could, essentially what we do with the QR code is you're supposed to send, we have an MMS consumption endpoint, which basically you're supposed to send a selfie with your ID. So what we do is essentially we read, first of all, we match your face and the ID, and then we read it off the ID. And if that check passes, then it goes into the rest of the flow. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, well done, guys.